Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome to the FIFA Flow podcast. Welcome to season 3, episode 41 of the podcast, guys. Today we got a bit of a more of a news. I kind of want to talk more of a technical, maybe not technical, but more of a what do you call it? Like a comparison type video. And what I mean by that is like kind of more of a not talking about football matches, but rather I guess football news, like mainly football news and what's happened in the past. There's gonna be 3 games I'm gonna talk about today, which are gonna be from last week. I'm gonna talk about Arsenal Crystal Palace, the El Clasico, and then the PSG game. Of course, those are the 3 games I want to talk about. We are currently on international break right now. Like football teams are on international break. So today we had like England versus Italy. We had a Portugal game, an England game. So yeah, I think we're gonna have another episode talking about international games, maybe on the weekend, like on Sunday. I think Sunday, or yeah, I think like Sunday or Saturday we might do another video on. Is there any good games like? So yeah, today of course we had a pretty nice game, England Italy. It's coming home, or it's coming Rome. Tomorrow France Netherlands, like that's a good game. Spain Norway, Morocco Brazil, Croatia Wales. I think that's a brilliant game. England, Ukraine, that should be pretty nice. France versus Ireland. Um, and then yeah, Tuesday next week, Belgium, Germany. We have a lot there. Georgia versus Norway. I think that should be pretty nice. Um, the Croatia, Turkey. So yeah, I think we have some pretty good games. I think next episode we'll talk about international games like today's ones onwards. We'll do that episode on Sunday, and then the ones on Monday and Tuesday, we're gonna talk about those ones maybe next Friday. Let's say I think is a good time to do it. But yeah, today, as I said, there's 3 games I want to talk about: Arsenal, El Clasico, and then PSG. And then I want to talk about some football news regarding Barcelona, of course, Paris Saint Germain, and then and also Bayern Munich. I also want to kind of recap on our last video, which was we talked. It was 4 days ago. We talked about the Champions League prediction with the UCL draw. So I kind of want to kind of recap over that. Take a look at that. And then yeah, that's gonna end off the episode. Let's go ahead, start it off with, of course, the football matches. Of course, Arsenal, man, topping the league, man. Arsenal this season, literally, as I always tell you guys, they really remind me of the invincible 03-04 season. I mean, of course, they have 3 losses. I think 2 to United. I know. I think 1 to United, 1 to Brighton near the beginning of the season, and I think 1 to Crystal Palace if I'm not mistaken. Like very very early on in the season. Um, but yeah, man, Arsenal, not just like yeah, as I said, their form, banger form. And what I really like about Arsenal is not just like, oh, like they're winning the league and stuff. The way they play, the passion, they have a lot of talent, young players and stuff. Like of course Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, Trossard. I mean, Trossard is kind of in his prime. I think he's 25, 27 years old. But like it is a lot of, I feel like, underrated players, passionate players. And what I really love about Arsenal is as I said, the connection within the team, and that's what makes Arsenal. Maybe Man City, of course, both Real Madrid and Barcelona, like these teams, maybe Napoli. You can say this. Like when I watch these teams, I'm more excited to watch these teams than PSG. I like it was on Sunday or Saturday, I think it was. I was watching the PSG game, and then like after the PSG game is like an hour after the La Liga game was on, the El Clasico, and man, I was so much more interested in the La Liga game because of the action, the connection, the passing, the more attacking from both teams. Like there's more movement, and the same thing is going on with Arsenal, man. The way Arsenal play, they're just a very very connected team. They love to cross it in. They like to cut inside all the time. Gabriel Martinelli, he got that first goal of the game, of course. Like brilliant, brilliant. Like it was crossed in by Saka. Gabriel Martinelli gets a touch on it, runs, and then hits it far post. A brilliant, brilliant control, and then getting a quick sprint to get past the defender, get it far post. Same with Saka. Like he did some of these. I think it was Bukayo Saka's, or not Bukayo Saka. What's his name? What's his full name? Like Granit Xhaka. It was his goal where he does like a 1-2 with Trossard. He passes it to Trossard, makes a run in behind. Trossard passes it back to him, and then into the back of the net. I think it was with Trossard, but still that 1-2 build up, like the connection, the runs that they make. And then Bukayo Saka as well. Like he also had a few good 1-2 moments. Like he takes a shot. He was in the chance creation. So as I said, a lot of talent. Bukayo Saka gets his goal. Like he goes, he gets the ball, he passes it out to Odegaard back to him, and then he just hits it far post. So brilliant there. Like man, the passion, the connection between the team, it's much more interesting. Pardon me, there's something in my throat. But yeah, as I said, the connection, the passion, the way they play, like the passing game, kind of like Spanish football. And that's what makes Spanish football. That's why I always say I think economically the Premier League is clear. They're more of a they can promote their league much more. I think England tax is huge, because England is a huge like economical country. So I think that's one huge part of it. And to be fair, the gameplay in England is good. But when it comes down to technical, I guess like skillful, maybe not skillful, when it comes down to technique, like take an example like Mbappe, like he does all these like step overs, this technical ability stuff. When it comes down to specifically that, like the tactics as well, I think La Liga is clear. Like, I think the way like they train, like take a look at players like Gavi. This guy's young and he's already like he already knows how to get around players. He's already that type of Iniesta player to get around, the passion to retrieve the ball back, to build up the play, see those passes into the box. He made a few good passes in the El Clasico to Rafinha. We'll talk about that when we go on to the El Clasico game. But it's just stuff like that which makes the Spanish league better. And then when it comes to teams like Arsenal and Man City in the Premier League, that's what makes them such strong teams, is because they also play technical football like Spanish people. The passing game, they pass back the 1-2s. They can cross it into each other. They see each other. So the connection, man, connection is a huge part. In Napoli as well, the same exact thing, connection, man, and that's what Spain has. The connection, like the connection, like they know each other really well. In Napoli as well, all the time you see Kvar down the left, you see Di Lorenzo or Politano on the right side. They cross it in or they cut inside, pass it to what's his name, Osimhen, and then he goes ahead and he's the goal scorer. He bangs into the back of the net, and that's what makes teams like Arsenal, they play exactly like that. Man City, of course, under Pep Guardiola, of course they're gonna play like that. So I think that's what makes it so much stronger and also so much more interesting to watch. That's what personally how I feel. And as I said, yeah, Arsenal, the passing game they always play very, very, very good. So that is that. Arsenal, of course, top of the league, 8 points clear. I mean, Man City do have a game in hand, which they did unfortunately not play due to having FA Cup. Well, not unfortunately, but they could not play due to an FA Cup. They had to play this weekend. Of course, man, Erling Haaland, yet again scoring 3 goals last week against RB Leipzig. This man scored 5 goals, and then in the FA Cup, he scored 3 goals, a hat trick, 8 goals in 2 games for Man City. Erling Haaland, a robot, man. This guy's a beast, literally. But yeah, after the international breaks, we should have some pretty good games. As I did mention, Arsenal are 8 points clear of the La Liga, of the Premier League table, but Man City do have a game in hand. However, Man City's next game will be Liverpool. That doesn't change the fact that they still have a game in hand. But still, I think it's gonna it might be a longer time for Arsenal to kind of get those 2 points closer to those 3 points closer to Arsenal. So like they have like if they lose or draw to Liverpool, they're not gonna get 3 points close to Liverpool. They're gonna get only 1 point, or to Arsenal they're gonna only have 1 point closer, or 0 points if they lose to Liverpool. And then like after that they have Liverpool, Arsenal should be good. But then they have like Southampton. Yeah. Overall, man. Yeah, I really, as I mentioned, the way Arsenal play, the connection, the way Man City play is just brilliant, brilliant. But yeah, I think Man City, they do have easier games like compared to Arsenal. Like they have Liverpool next, and then yeah, they have Liverpool, Southampton, and then like Leicester City, Brighton. If you keep on, oh, Man City, Arsenal, that's gonna be a huge decider for the title. That could be huge. Fulham, um, or not Fulham, Fulham. You don't say Fulham, man. That's the American way. Although I said it, so am I American? Maybe. Am I butchering? Am I a fake football fan? Everton, and then if you take a look at like Arsenal, like their upcoming games or the rest of the season, looks a bit more difficult, as I mentioned. So Leeds, they have Leeds, Liverpool, Southampton as well, Man City, of course, for both of them, Chelsea as well, um, Newcastle, that should be a really good game, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, yeah, City have Chelsea here as well, then Wolves, and then City. So yeah, I think it's a bit even, maybe like one or two games harder for Arsenal. But as I said, it's gonna be the way they play is just superior. So I still think that Arsenal, Man City will be the top two because of the way that they play, the passing game, the connection. United are starting to get that connection, but it's just not there yet. And I think the thing that makes United not have a chance for the top two is they started getting this connection, this passing game later on into the season. If they had this initially at the beginning of the season, I think they would definitely be definitely in the second place, maybe even first place of the league. But since they started having this connection game, this passing game later on in the league, it's not going to be quite it for them in the top two. But yeah, as I said, I think the Arsenal versus Man City game is gonna be a huge decider um for Arsenal for the Premier League title. But yeah, that is the Premier League for you. I wanted to talk about that game and just how effective the passing game is, the Spanish tactical like play style is. Like you see like players like you see Arsenal are using that. Of course, Pep Guardiola is 100% gonna use that from his Barcelona days and his Bayern days, of course. Um, and then Napoli are also currently like that. That's why they're such a strong team this season, Napoli, because of the connection game, the passing, the go down the wings, cut inside that they can find each other. That's something that PSG don't have. And let's go to the PSG game first. I want to talk about national. We'll keep PSG for last. Let's talk about El Clasico now that we're on the topic about the Spanish like tiki taka type passing, the passing game, the connection, and man, like as I mentioned, after watching that PSG game, I went to this game and holy, what a more I was more like into the game. I wanted like I liked the game much better. It was more interesting because of the way both teams played. I think both teams were very good. Watching them is very excellent. It's weird because in Europe, I think in globally, I think as a whole, like in the football history globally, Real Madrid are the best team in history. But when it comes to specifically in Spain, maybe not just in Spain. I think when it comes specifically to Barcelona versus Real Madrid, and not um, like if you say Barcelona versus the rest of the world, like if you say Barcelona, PSG, Barcelona, Europe, or Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Man City, I think like teams like Liverpool. Like, what am I trying to get here? What's my point here? Is what I'm trying to say is as a club, like economically, even historically, and to win like big trophies, like to come in clutch, you can say. Real Madrid are clear, but when it comes to specifically Barcelona versus Real Madrid, not as a whole, like not compared to like if Barcelona lose to Bayern, but then Real Madrid beat Bayern, does that mean Real Madrid are better than Barcelona? No. When it comes to like that, Real Madrid are clear. But when it comes to specifically matches between Barcelona versus Real Madrid, when it comes to specifically Spain, only in Spain, I think Barcelona are clear of Madrid. Maybe slightly clear. Like when it comes to specifically like a Clásicos in Spain, I think Barcelona are better, are stronger. But when it comes to economically, winning big trophies such as Club World Cups, Champions Leagues, and stuff like that. Real Madrid are clear, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, let's talk about this game, and then I'll go to why Barcelona might not be clear. But yeah, as I said, this game was really, really good. In the first half, I think Madrid were really good. And Araujo just wasn't in his game today to kind of stop Vinny. But that wasn't really a problem for Araujo because even though the problem was that Real Madrid did get the ball to Vinny, Vinny got behind Araujo many times. But what I'm saying here is that was a problem. However, it wasn't a problem for Araujo afterwards because Vinny just wasn't on point in cutting inside, passing, finding Benzema in the box to get the goal like they usually do. The to the wing to Vinny, cut inside to Benzema, just wasn't working out for Vinny. Vinny couldn't really get that final push to get it to Benzema. But it actually worked in the first half, in the first 9 minutes, where Vinny tries to do that yet again. And then unfortunately, it hits Araujo. He tries to header it out, and it angles between the near post and Ter Stegen. Like very, very bad, like reflection, like the way it reflected. Unfortunate. But then yeah, like in the first half, Barcelona were a very different team. They were more of a cross in, like go to Rafinha, go to De Jong or something. And as I mentioned, Gavi, man, Gavi. This guy who apparently I think I mentioned this in my last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, not in the Champions League one, but in the one before, where La Liga are not accepting Barcelona's approval to sign Gavi or like to make him part of the main team and stuff. And if that continues to be like that, Gavi will be a free agent this summer. And man, the way Gavi plays, as I said, like he's super young and he's already has the passion. He already has the tactical like play style, the passing play style, like Iniesta, man. He fights to get the ball back. He moves the ball well. He passes it well. As I mentioned, the way that Barcelona play, Gavi, the passion, and then he sees Rafinha, and then they cross it in. So like the way one, Frenkie de Jong, Gavi, Pedri, imagine all 3 in the midfield, the passion to get the ball, and then 2, send it to the wingers, and then 3, those wingers find whoever's inside the box. The connection, the pass and go, the passion. And that's what I really love about Barcelona, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Man City, Napoli, because the passion, the connection, the way they play, the pass and go play style, I love that. I love the tiki-taka, the best play style, and that's what Barcelona and Madrid, that's what makes the El Clasico the El Clasico, man. I'm very, very fortunate I was able to go to El Clasico. Brilliant game in Las Vegas last summer. And yeah, today they showed it well as well. Just give me a moment here. Yeah, today, or not today, in this game they showed it well. Like they crossed it in. But as I mentioned, in the first half they were really focusing on getting the ball, sending it down the wings like to Rafinha, to Gavi, and then cutting inside. Not mainly just any specifically like passing it inside, mainly crossing it inside. They were focusing on in the first half. In the second half, they had that a few times, but I think they mainly focused on getting it to the center first and then playing from there, like getting it to Lewandowski and then playing it from there. And that's what actually happened towards the last goal as well for Frank Kessié. Is Lewandowski, they played it to Lewandowski, and then he does like a back heel, brilliant back heel yet again to the wings, to Gavi. And then I think it was Gavi who crosses it in. Yet again he finds him. He like go to the center, get the ball, pass it down the wing, and then find a player in the box. And it was Frank Kessié who gets it in the back of the net, who finally gets his first goal for Barcelona, clutches it against the most important team, which is El Clasico. Big rivalry, of course. One of the biggest, if probably the biggest match in Spain. He clutches up for his first goal as well in Barcelona, and the way that it built up, brilliant. What I will say is, man, Real Madrid, I mean, they have a passion with Camavinga, man. What a player. Valverde never stops running, always hungry to retrieve that ball. He loses it, he runs back straight away. He never runs out of stamina. He runs back straight away, retrieves that ball. Modric making some creative opportunities. As I mentioned, a problem for Araujo was Vinny got behind him a lot of the times today. He did not pocket Vinny. However, when Vinny did get behind, Araujo was fortunate enough that Vinny just wasn't on his gameplay. He wasn't 100% on at his top. But yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. But I think the problem for Madrid is really the fullbacks, man. If they had good fullbacks, Madrid would be such a better team. Danny Carvajal, man, like towards the end of the game, if you take a look at the last goal, man, this guy, he's running around, he falls down, he gets bodied by Lewandowski, and he doesn't even come back. He watches the ball. Like he's going out of position. He loses the ball, and then when they lose the ball, he doesn't even run back, and that's a huge reason why Valverde plays on that right side, so he can kind of cover up for Carvajal. Same with Camavinga as well. Like Camavinga, Valverde, even like they know that Carvajal will be like older player, not as like hungry for the ball, so they're there to back them up. But I really think that, man, Madrid really need. They shouldn't go for Mbappe. They shouldn't go for Haaland. I think their main focus this summer. Even Jude Bellingham, man. Don't go for Jude Bellingham. I mean, it would be pretty sick. Like instead of having Camavinga, they would have Camavinga right back or left back instead, and then play Jude Bellingham there instead. So basically, like you're getting a fullback from your center mids and also getting a new center mid replacement. So the Camavinga would go left back here, and then Jude Bellingham would go in instead. That would be pretty interesting. However, I still think that is a waste. I think their main goal should be focusing on a true right back position. Camavinga, when he does play in that fullback position, he is still a fantastic player, man. He locks down those fullbacks. He goes up down the wings a lot of the time, like Nuno Mendes and Hakimi in PSG. However, I think still buying a mainly focused right backs such as maybe Reece James, Theo Hernandez, Hakimi, who their main position is a right back. Having one of those guys, if they sign someone like them, I think is definitely better. I think Di Lorenzo, maybe he's not bad either from Napoli. He's having a great time at Napoli, going down those wings, getting the ball, crossing it in. I think he's great at that. So Di Lorenzo is not a bad shout as a player I want to mention for Real Madrid, like a backup, a new replacement for Carvajal. They're probably gonna go for someone who's maybe even Trent, man. Yes, some of you might say Trent is having an awful season. Definitely compared to seasons like in 2019 when they won the UCL, he's nothing compared to that. However, I think still Trent is definitely better than Carvajal. I think the crosses, the playing game, the way that he's gonna be able to attack, and of course I think I said this before, where Real Madrid want us to get rid of Ferland Mendy. I think Ferland Mendy is great at defending, but they don't like him because he doesn't attack enough. And I think with Trent, I think Trent is a great player who can who's definitely able to do that. This guy is everywhere in the attack, in the build-up play, in the counter-attack when it comes to Liverpool's counter-attacks. So I think Trent, yes, some of you might say he's not the best right back in the world, but I think he's definitely a great replacement for Carvajal, especially when it comes to attacking. If Madrid want that attacking right back, that attacking left back, Trent, man, Di Lorenzo, Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, yes, I said Camavinga as well, but I think getting a main right back, someone who's main in that, like who's, I guess what am I trying to say here? Someone who's focused in that role is definitely a better idea. Like, so yeah, I think, as I said, Di Lorenzo, Trent, Reece, I don't know, maybe Reece James, but I think Trent for sure in the attacking. Yeah, I think Trent and Di Lorenzo would be better for Madrid rather than Reece James. And in the left back, as I said, if they do end up getting Jude Bellingham, then I think they would play him in the midfield and Camavinga at fullback. But I think for Jude Bellingham's price, at how much is he? 150 million. They can easily get like two right backs. And like, how much is Trent? Trent value like 68, and he's also about the same price. But I feel like, I don't know, like Di Lorenzo, I feel like he's a good valued player. Like if you take a Di Lorenzo value, 25 million value, man. How old is he? He's 29 years. I feel like he's pretty solid, man. He's really, really solid for his position. Oh, not Michael. Maybe Doomfries. Yeah, Doomfries is not bad. But I feel like you can get two solid right backs such as Di Lorenzo, maybe Doomfries. Maybe you can go for Trent. Like they can go for easily get those. Yeah, honestly, knowing Liverpool, they'll probably sell Trent so they can get to Madrid just for them to get money to buy new midfielders. I guarantee you. So even going for Trent, you can get him for 40 million less. Imagine getting Trent and Di Lorenzo for about the same price as Jude Bellingham. Would be much better, man. Much better. So I feel like getting two cheap, good, solid like Di Lorenzo, um, yeah, as I said, as I mentioned, always Di Lorenzo. I think he's huge. Maybe Zinchenko, man. This guy's passion. Like players who play like Nuno Mendes would be great. Um, is much needed for Madrid rather than a central midfielder and then move Camavinga to fullback. Getting two mainly focused fullbacks is better instead. Now going back to where I said like in Spain, Barcelona are better. However, globally and economically, Madrid are better. The reason why I say now I think that is true still, but it could be not true due to this. So UEFA have opened an investigation into allegations that Barcelona paid 6.5 million to senior former referees over 17 years. And this could be a huge part in the GOAT debate between Real Madrid, between Lionel Messi and Ronaldo. Now I think both are still great players. I think I still think that Ronaldo had to go through. I'm not saying that Messi is praised by FIFA, is praised by what's his name, by uh like something like Gio, like what's his name, FIFA president Infantino, Gianni Infantino. I'm not saying he's like very praised by that. However, I feel like um he's had it easier than Ronaldo. And the reason I say that, the reason I'm not saying because the world praises Messi. I'm not saying because they praise Messi and they're letting Messi win everything for free. I'm saying it because with the way that Messi plays from such a young age as well, it's like Messi was born with this talent. But when you take a look at Ronaldo had to work for this talent. He had to work to get where he was. Whereas Messi was he had that talent inside of him, in his blood. Ronaldo, he had that mentally. I think that's the difference. Is he had it mentally, and he had to work that mentality to the rest of his body. Whereas for Messi, he had the rest of the body. He had to get it mentally to get to the top level. Yep. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So I feel that Ronaldo had it harder on him because when you take a look at Messi, he's just, man, the way like he knows he already has, he knows what he does. He scans the field. It's like he has the talent is in his blood. But with Ronaldo's, I don't know, he still had that in him. I think what also made him become what it is like he didn't have as much talent, but because he was mentally so well mentally, he trained himself, he pushed himself to learn all this stuff by himself. And for that reason, it made him look like he had to go through more than what Messi had to go through. So that is one part. I will say that I'm not trying to hate Ronaldo. I love both of them. I think both are the GOATs. The only part sometimes I do debate about Ronaldo and Messi is because other people are debating about them. I think both are legends of the era, two legends playing in the same era, as Alphonso Davies says. So we shouldn't. I don't like hating on both of them. I think both are great players. But the reason why I feel like Messi might be like why a lot of Ronaldo fans might think Messi like gets everything for free is because like maybe it's a bit like that. Maybe you can say it's a bit like that, like Ronaldo, man. But at the same time, it's also because, as I mentioned, Ronaldo had to work for it. He had to train, push himself mentally, whereas Messi was already kind of born with that talent, kind of, is what I would say. But yeah, talking about these allegations, I think still with these allegations, if it was true, I think Barcelona. I think it doesn't change the fact that Messi is still an extraordinary player. In terms of trophy wise, it definitely does. I feel like if these allegations are true, however, I think it's in terms of the way that Messi plays, man, it's still extraordinary. It's still a legendary type like play style from Messi. The way the vision he can see. So I think trophy wise, if the allegations are true, trophy wise, man, Messi should be. I think he's gonna go down, but I think playstyle wise, playstyle wise, I think Messi is still gonna be a legend if these allegations are true. If it's true, trophy wise, I think a lot of the trophies Messi shouldn't have earned. Already he doesn't earn some of them like Ballon d'Ors and stuff, but even more if these allegations are true. But the playstyle is still gonna be up there. But if the allegations are not true, it's just gonna be how it is right now, how it currently is, where he's the best player in the world. He's earned these trophies, or not the best player. He's one of the two best players in the world in our generation, which is him and Ronaldo. And then, but if these allegations are not true, or if these allegations are not true, everything remains the same. He's still gonna be one of the two best players in the world in our generation, alongside with Ronaldo. All the trophies were earned, like they were earned properly. Some of them are still not earned properly. It was definitely rigged by the referees. Like referees are having a laugh, and Ballon d'Or decisions and stuff. But it's still gonna remain the same, like how it is the same. But if these allegations are true, then trophy wise, I think he goes down a lot. Like I'm not gonna respect, like he doesn't really earn those trophies. But play style wise, I will still respect him because the way this guy played, man, brilliant. He made a brilliant pass in the PSG game, which we'll talk about in a sec. Now, of course, like even if these allegations are not true, there's still no, there's still definitely moments where referees definitely helped Messi, or not just Messi, but Barcelona. 2006 UCL final against Arsenal. Eto, he hits the ball, he gets tripped by whoever the keeper was back then. I don't know his name. And then it goes to who was it? Like Gilos, is that his name? Gigos. Barcelona UCL final lineup. If we take a look at the lineup, I think it started with a G. He played for Barcelona, like Gilos or something. Yuli, yeah, this guy here, not Gilos or whatever I'm saying. I knew there's like a G and an Ellen or something. Yeah, Edo gets the ball. Leman, is that how you pronounce his name, man? I'm butchering everything. But yeah, he Eto gets the ball. It goes to him down into the box. He trips Eto and they score. Yeah, Barcelona still score, but the referee still decides to disallow the goal and call a red card instead. I feel like so they lost their keeper, and then of course they go on to lose 2-1. And in 2009, in the quarterfinals as well, of course we all know the famous like Thierry Henry disgrace. It's a disgrace. This should not be allowed. It's a disgrace. You already know. Not Thierry Henry, Didier Drogba. We all know that famous clip of him. When Chelsea lost the quarterfinal second leg towards Barcelona. We all know that. And that was a huge disgrace. Two robbed penalties, a handball, pulling on the shirt, and the ref doesn't. Two penalties, like pulling Didier Drogba's shirt after a brilliant handling. Like he handled the ball well. He got the ball well. And then like there was a handball as well, and they don't call both of them. Man, disgrace! It is a disgrace. It is a disgrace. Didier Drogba. So those are like even if these allegations are not true, I will still agree that Messi did not earn some of those. Like not Messi, but Barcelona were definitely kind of lucked out by the referee. Whether it was by being favored or the ref just not liking one team and like favoring one team over the other, the ref just not knowing how football works. Either by that, um, I'll still agree, but I'm not gonna like, and then that's where I say trophies for Messi will go to, like, I want to respect where Barcelona has these trophies. However, Messi as a player, I'm still gonna respect him because of the way he plays. He definitely changed the way he plays, man. Just brilliant. I don't care if he has the World Cup, man. The way he plays is extraordinary, man. Extraordinary. And he did that extra. He played really really well. It just shows, man. He had such good balls into Mbappe, man. Mbappe, however, this game could not finish. And what I mean by, like, man, Mandanda, man, Steve Mandanda, this guy was crazy today in this game, or not today, during this game on Sunday, man. This guy was saving everything. Mbappe was just not on point. But however, man, Messi sending, like as I mentioned, it's not about Messi's trophies. I don't really care about his trophies. However, the play style, man, the vision, he does a great pass he had. Unfortunately, Mbappe couldn't like chip it over Mandanda. Well played by, I think he's 37 years old and he's blocking one of the best current strikers in the world, Mbappe. And man, Steve Mandanda was having, he had a great extraordinary game. How yeah, he had an extraordinary game. But just like Messi, man, Messi. So give me a second here. I need to check out something. Um, never mind. But oh no, okay, I found it. But yeah, as I mentioned, Steve Mandanda extraordinary game, but even though we didn't score, man, the build up, the these are the build up, the vision, the through balls to from Messi to Mbappe. The chances we had that were extraordinarily saved by Steve Mandanda, most of them were created by Lionel Messi. So I think as a player, skillfully, the talent of Messi, I'll respect that. But maybe trophy wise, I'll say like some of them he didn't earn. Right now, I still say that, but even if those allegations are true, then even more not earned. But I'm still gonna respect him as a player, like the way he plays. Guys, man, PSG though, this game, man, was terrible. We play so slow. Look at our backline, Bernat, man. He's an old. He's good at reading. I think his defensive, his awareness is really really good. However, like able to, like, I think he wins I think he wins his battles because he's more of a intelligent player. However, when it comes to like I guess like if it was Juan Bernat versus Mbappe, man, Juan Bernat is gonna be smoked. And for that reason, like, we just played terribly because we have Juan Bernat, we have a 17-year-old at right back or at left back, Pembele, who should have stayed more like back to kind of help Juan Bernat. Um, our midfield, man, we just keep on losing the ball. Like, we play so slow. We like, and it's just it's terrible, man. We can't build up fast, and we need to play, like, as I said, the passing game, the connection game. That's how we have to play. That is how we have to play. And talking about that, let's go ahead and talk about PSG. How Leonardo and QCI transfer business set the club back multiple years and delayed our chances at winning the the UCL for the very first time. So I want to talk about this and talk about what can we do to improve. So June 2019, Leonardo returns to the club for his second stint as sporting director. He immediately sells Lo Celso, who's now at Villarreal, on loan to Villarreal. I think he plays for Spurs. Diaby and Kunku, Weah, Zagre, and Nisoki. I don't know who Nisoki is. I don't know who Zagre is. I know Weah is the American who's Timothy. Is his name Timothy Weah? He's what's his name? He's John Weah or something. Weah. George Weah, who's the only African to win the Ballon d'Or, I believe. Um, But yeah, Timothy Weah, we had him, and now he's at Lyon, I think, or Lille. I think he's at Lille, the American. So he's a pretty good baller. And Kunku, who's now going for 80 million, transfer to Chelsea now. Diaby, who's a brilliant. He's fast, good on the ball. Lo Celso, I think I think he's a great center mid. Um, for not only for Villarreal, just in general, like he moves the ball well. So I think if we had these four players, man, we would be so good in attack in the midfield, and we sell them all for 106 million. The average age of them was 22.0. So we lost all these youngsters, man. Why are we selling young players? We should be selling older players, man. We sell these youth people who were the future of our club. Now we have to go find. Now we have to go buy them back. There's rumors that we want to buy back Diaby when we initially had him in our youth squad, like as part of our future of the squad. Who's now a baller. Same with Nkunku. Same with what's his name? Coman. While we didn't have, while we couldn't have kept all the young players, we also sold. We sold. Leonardo did poor business, and Kunku is worth 80 million. Yeah, I just mentioned that, going to Chelsea for 100 million this summer. Diaby is worth 50 million, and which we want to get rumored back. He got 28 million for both of them combined when we sold him back in, when was it, 2019. That summer, Leonardo brought in the following: Icardi for 60 million. What a scam. Sarabia, I really did. I honestly, I didn't mind Pablo Sarabia. I think he's pretty underrated. Guaya, I think that's a scam. 30 million, bro. Diallo, and Herrera for free. So Diallo, Guaya, scam. Icardi for 60 million on loan, which I think we then like signed him fully. Scam. We spent 60. How much is this? 90, 122, 130, 140 million on these washed players and Herrera for free, when we had these young players who are now worth 80 million, 100 million transfer this summer, 50 million, 28, bro. My goodness. Along with Navas, along with Keylor Navas, these players were all loaned out or sold within 3 seasons. All have seen a decrease in their transfer value, and they will end up getting 40 million back for them at the most, a loss of 105 million. The player and total wage bill stayed the same through Leonardo's first season at 242 million per year per player. For players, like and then 375 million total, like the players, like, and all that stuff. Our wages and revenue ratio increased from 59% in the previous 2 seasons to 77%, but this is because revenue decreased by 95 million in the first COVID year. Year 2, this was Leonardo's calmest year of the 3, where he only spent significant money on Rico, which is a Spanish keeper, 6 million. Not that bad, just a nice backup. Danilo Pereira, love this guy, like the beast. I think he played for Porto and he was a baller. So this was definitely huge. I think his outcome, like now, he's really good. Also loaned in Moise Kean. I love him. I think he was a great. And Florenzi, I think he was huge as well. He didn't sell anyone significant, but let Munier, who's now at Borussia Dortmund, Choupo-Moting, now at Bayern Munich, who's having an extraordinary season, Cavani, who I think is a pretty underrated player, and Thiago Silva for free. For free, man, for free. What are we doing? As stated earlier, the wage bill stayed partially the same, although at the end of the season, he extended Neymar by 5 seasons and increased his salary from 43 to 56. In his 2 years, we had exactly 7 players that made 10 million plus. Year 3, the catastrophe coming off years where we made UCL final and semi-final. Leonardo and Qatar were out to build a squad to finish the job. An 80 million net transfer spent and many negotiable signings. Later, we employed Messi, Ramos, Wijnaldum, Donnarumma, Hakimi, and Nuno Mendes. On the pitch, it was a failure, but our worst part of the window was the effect it had on our books. Our wage bill reportedly increased by 172 million this season, a staggering 41.8%. Wages of new players: Messi 63, Ramos 27, Donnarumma 18, Hakimi 14.5, Wijnaldum 13 million. That's 135 million from 5 players. On top of that, the only first team player to leave that summer was Bakker. We only let the only first team player was this guy here. I don't even know, Mitchell Bakker or Baker. One first team player, and we signed 5 first team players. Man, the wage bill, holy! Although Sarabia and Areola were loaned out, those 3 players only made a combined 13 million a year. Raises to Bernat, Kurzawa, Neymar, and others round out the wage increase. Our commercial revenue only increased by 84 million from 2020 to 2022. Our broadcast revenue fell from 220 to 139 in 1 year. And our prize money decreased because of the short-lived UCL run. Wages were larger than revenue for the first time ever at a ratio of 111%. Ridiculous. As you can see, the revenue, we're making 650. So over here, we made more revenue than we were before. Changes on previous, 18% more revenue. But the wage bills, man, does it show the wage bills? And that just shows how we make revenue. Overall, the last full year without COVID produced that much in revenue with a ratio of 58%. 3 years later, after a failed QCI pipe dream, revenue with this 654 million, but the expenses has only dramatically increased. Last summer, Leonardo was sacked, and the club claimed that a new era without bling bling was upon us, facing a major risk with financial fair play if drastic action was taken. Campos sold/loaned 17 first team players to generate 59 million in sales and free up between 35 to 60 million in wages. Keep in mind, he did this right after Mbappe was given a raise of 35 million before he was even hired. Campos' 5 signings cost the club 110 million, and we still spent more than we made in the mercato, which I think is the market, but just by about 40 million if you attribute the Nuno Mendes transfer money to last season. A conservative estimate: if Campos can sell even 10 of the 20 plus loft players next year for just 50% of their value, he'll be generating 45 million in fees and removing at least 30 million from the wage bill. Now assume we break up M&M, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, and extend Ramos to a smaller deal. That's another 75 million. A moderate analysis would show that we can and likely will generate save at least 125 million from player departures next season, even after we buy Ekitike. The wage bill will be lower than 300 million. Wages revenue ratio will be around 85 million, and will likely be totally financial fair play complaint. A moderate, oh no, I already saw. The one thing I do worry about, however, is how our non-player wage bill will be increased about 125 million into 2019/2020 to an estimate of 325 in 2022. Who is the money going to? Why the massive increase? Yeah, in 2 years, we almost triple the money, the non-player wage bill. So like, other than the players, the wage bill of the club has increased almost 3 times, like 2.5. to like 200 million exactly. And what will be done to mitigate this? That is a brief summary on our finances relating to transfer wages since 2019. We went from being financially healthy to unsuitable, and now back on path to healthy again. This summer, I expect Campos to be frugal and sign players on bargains with just one big name signing. I'd like to see us bring free agents Thuram and Dika. Actually, I don't know, Dika. Anyways, and possibly Lamer. Okay, yeah, he's pretty good from RB Leipzig. And Rabiot. I'm back and forth on him. True. And Awar. Parisians, Diaby would always be appreciated, and there are many great players on their financial contract in 2024. Thanks for reading Allez Paris. Ici c'est Paris. So guys, huge list here. And let's go back. So wage bill wise, man, holy, wage bills have been increased so much, and we're still like in the past years our wage increase is like almost 300 million. We're selling young players like Lo Celso, who's a baller now. Lo Celso, Diaby, Nkunku, Weah. And we're signing Shiza players like Icardi on loan, Diallo, Gueye, Herrera for free. Sarabia, I didn't mind him. I think he's a baller, underrated baller. He's now at Wolves, I think, and now from Wolves he went to Sporting, I believe. And we're signing Danilo. I think he's solid. He's definitely solid now. Rico, this season I think was pretty solid for us. We got Florenzi and Keane. I like them. They were really good for us. But then we're letting other players like Cavani and Thiago Silva. Cavani, our top goal scorer at the club before Mbappe now, and Thiago Silva, a beast, passionate player, man. We're letting them go on free. And then we get our, and then in those 2 seasons where we sell these youngsters and then let our big players go for free, we then in those 2 seasons we make a UCL final and a UCL semi-final. So then we say like, oh, if we have a big season, if we sign Messi, Ramos, Hakimi, Donnarumma, surely we win the UCL now, especially after making the UCL final and the semi-final 2 seasons in a row. Surely now we finish it off and finally win the UCL. But from then on, we sign these players, the wage bill goes up, and then the revenue from winning games goes down. We 2 seasons in a row, UCL round of 16 knockout, and then as I said, we're and then all this stuff here, and then also over here, where was it? We're in 2019 and 2020, we have 125 million spending to non-players, like we're to non-players, increased to 325. What does that mean? What are we spending money on? Are we fixing? Are we painting the stadium seats for 200 million euros? What a joke, man! What a joke. So, as a PSG fan, I have to go through this. I think personally, Juan Bernat, we have to swell Juan Bernat. Let's take a look at these transfers. If we go to transfer market US, let's take a look and see what the value of these players that I want to sell are. If we swell Juan Bernat. And the problem is the first stint, the first season back during the second run for Leonardo, our old sporting manager, he sold a lot of our youngsters, and now they're worth a lot. So that is a huge problem as well. Juan Bernat at 12 million. I doubt we're gonna sell him for that much though. Shoot. Yeah, let's just go ahead and bring up Explorer instead, because it is much better here. And let's go ahead and bring up the PSG squad. Yeah, as I mentioned, Ramos, we have to extend Ramos. And how much is like Ramos's I guess you can say Ramos. Let's take a look. Does it show on here? Does it say how much he's making, like how much we pay him. It is not. Let's take a look. How much does Ramos earn at PSG? $10 million a year. So we're right now at 10 mil a year. So I think we would lower it maybe to 8 million. The less the better, but let's say 8 million there. We have a 4 million plus. 4 mil plus. In like, what did you call it? What's the difference? And then like who else? Messi. I would sell. Actually, Messi's probably gonna go on free. But like, how much does Messi earn? Messi wage. No, it said somewhere here. It said on the It said over here. Messi earns 63 million, bro. So 63 million. So that's gonna bring us to 67 mil more money. Whether that's for wage bills or signing players, doesn't really matter. If we go back to here, like Danilo Pereira keep, Neymar keep, Verratti keep, Marquinhos keep, Rico. Rico, do we sell Rico? But like, I think we're getting 6.5 million net per year. So we're bringing in Skriniar. I think he's gonna get a signing bonus of 20 million for not extending with Inter. And then let's say he makes like 8 million a year. That's gonna be 20 million here. Let's say about 40 million. So now we're up to 40 million. Yeah, Rico. Let's say we sell Rico for like 4 million. If we sell him for Rico for like 4 million, we get 44 million here. Kimpembe keep, Ronaldo Sanchez keep, Donnarumma, Mukiele keep, Ruiz. I mean sometimes he's good, but yeah, I guess keep Mbappe. Of course we're gonna keep Hakimi, keep Soler, sell Soler. How much does Soler go for? Soler 35 million. Nah, no ways he's gonna be. We're selling him for 30, maybe 30 million. Or 25 million, let's say 25 million. So let's just say about 70 million, let's say. And then like who else? Vitinha keep, Pembele keep, Nuno Mendes, Ekitike. I mean, how much is he? 40 million, I think. I would not sign him. Don't sign Ekitike. Hopefully we don't sign him. But like these are the players I'm talking about. We have to sell these players we don't use. And look at this. From these players we sold, extending these players and signing Skriniar. And then let's say we go ahead. There's some players I would like to mention that I would like to get at the club. Who? So you got Thuram. I think both Thurams. Marcus Thuram from Mönchengladbach. How much does he go for? About 32 million is his current. Let's say we get him for about 30 million. Let's say, Marcus Thuram, 30 mil. I think who's his brother? Where is it? Here, Keprin Thuram. And when does his contract end? Contract expires June 2025. But how much is he? Like 25 million? Let's say we get Thuram like 25 mil, let's say. That brings us to like 15 mil plus increase. We're signing a strong CDM, a central midfielder, a CDM for us. In the back line, we're gonna have We're gonna have Nuno Mendes left back, Marquinhos, Ramos, Skriniar, the center backs, Hakimi right wing back. In the midfield, we would have Verratti, Verratti, Marcos Thuram, or not Marcus, the other Thuram, maybe like Danilo Pereira. What, that's 5-3, and then a 5-3-2. Maybe Neymar and Mbappe up top. A backup would be Marcus Thuram, striker. Like, man, these are the players. Di Lorenzo, like, put Di Lorenzo, sign him, go get Florent. Like, man, like, so these are the players I'm telling you. If we sell these players, a lot of our players, like Juan Bernat, unnecessarily needed. Messi, huge wage bill decreased. Like, we'll decrease the wage bill so we can sign him easily, or get more money from him easily to sign other players like Marcus Thuram. See, Messi, with Messi's wage bill right now, we can go ahead and sign both the Thuram brothers. Like, man, like I feel like we don't even need Messi, man. I would rather sell Messi. I mean, yes, he's good, like, in creating chances for us, but I don't know, man. Like, we need to improve other places. But yeah, that is that for PSG, man. That is that. PSG just in the mud. Like, the wage bill, man. We need something huge. But that is PSG there. But yeah, going on to the end of the episode, guys. Actually, let's just end that there. I'm gonna kind of do a recap quickly on the Champions League. We had Napoli, AC Milan. I think Napoli go through easily. Madrid, as I mentioned, if Chelsea somehow draw or beat Madrid in the first leg, I think they will have a chance to knock out Real Madrid in the second leg, because, man, second leg home tax is real, man. Second leg home tax is real. Trust me, it is real. Inter Benfica, I think Benfica will win. However, I feel like we could see a bit of an upset, and Inter could actually knock out Benfica. I wouldn't be surprised if that. I mean, man, Benfica are clear, man. They are killing it in the. They're like killing it in their form, or killing it. Inter Milan kind of sloppy recently, but still, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I feel like Inter are not the worst team, but still, overall, they're not in the best form. But yeah, Bayern, Man City. So FC Bayern are seriously considering to sack Julian Nagelsmann. Decision being considered or being discussed internally. The club could fire him soon. Understood Thomas Tuchel, leading candidate to potentially take FC Bayern. So that is going to be pretty interesting for the Bayern Man City game. And for me, I didn't mention that Man City have a huge chance to win because, like, now they have Erling Haaland. But as I mentioned, man, second leg home tax, I think Bayern could possibly win this game against Man City. Now, I really think that Bayern is a huge team. I think that if Bayern somehow, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like Bayern are the only team that could possibly knock out Real Madrid. And the reason I say that is, I don't know, man. The way that Bayern play, and I think it's really the fullbacks, man. The way they use their fullbacks, Alphonso Davies, João Cancelo, the backline with Skriniar, like Skriniar, or not Skriniar, what's his name? Matthijs de Ligt, man. He's the passionate player in the backline. Like, it's just Joshua Kimmich, Thomas Muller, man. So I think, and then Goretzka, I think also is all these passionate players. The connection, yet again, the connection type thing. They might not play the pass and go type thing, but the connection they definitely have. And then I think it's just the press, man. Like, they play much more physically, and I think that's what makes them such a dangerous team to play, is because like, teams are not as physical. And I think Man City are like one of the only teams that can handle Bayern Munich's press and physical kind of presence. So but other than that, I feel like the way, especially down those wings with Davies and Cancelo, is gonna hurt teams like Madrid, Man City, and stuff. So, and now with Thomas Tuchel, man, I feel like Thomas Tuchel. I mean, I don't see what's wrong with Julian Nagelsmann. This guy wins I think he won the but he won the what is it called? He got knocked out by Villarreal last season in the UCL. However, he won the Bundesliga, and this season he's only conceded 2 goals in the UCL. He knocked out PSG. So I feel like let him stay. Let him stay. If he loses maybe the first leg of, if he somehow loses the first leg of the Manchester City game in the UCL, then maybe then you can sack him. But I feel like let him do what he's meant to do. I feel like the passion you can see after they scored the first goal against PSG in the PSG game. You see, I think it was Thomas Tuchel and Nagelsmann. Like they go like they like chest bump each other. Like the connection, man, the bond. He has the bond. Tuchel, man, I think he's definitely more experienced. What he did at PSG, what he did at Chelsea as well, winning the UCL during like got sacked at PSG in the 2021 season in December of 2020. In December or in January of 2021, he gets sacked by PSG, goes to Chelsea, and in half a season at Chelsea, he wins the UCL. I think he was very, very good. We were a much different team back when Tuchel was with us at PSG, and he was really, really good for us. Like the way where he played Marquinhos CDM, and stuff like that. So I think Tuchel is still a great manager. However, I feel like Nagelsmann, he's still having a pretty decent season right now. He knocked out PSG, only 2 goals conceded against Man City. He was the one who wanted to bring in João Cancelo, who's a huge player for them. So, man, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. It's very, very interesting. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Let him stay, as I said. See what happens after the Man City game. I know they probably want to bring in Tuchel before the Man City game because he's probably more like he's probably a better manager, like tactically, to beat Man City. However, I feel like, man, let Nagelsmann do what he's meant to do. But yeah, that's gonna end off the episode. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. As I mentioned, next episode will probably might be on Sunday. We'll talk about the international games. But for now, have a good one. Stay positive, stay flow, and I'll see you later. Peace.